And Laura Doyle is a
singer-songwriter, musician too, and composer now.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And from the people that I know and all my musician friends, you seem to be the person that's achieved most success in your career.
Out of anyone in Canada?
No, in Vancouver, just from people that I know.
Our community.
Yeah, in our community.
Yeah.
So, what is that success so far?
Some of it is some strange, whimsical kind of luck that comes from out of nowhere.
Okay.
Like the night that I met your ex, and he was screening his short film. We went to go see another friend's short film that was screening that night, and I gave 3 songs away, 3 copies of a song. And Ann Wheeler happened to be there, this director, and she happened to want my music for her movie. And that began there, and then we ended up getting flown to Toronto to open, the big party for the film festival, and then we ended up getting nominated for 2 Genie Awards. But that came from a fluke occurrence.
Wow.
And many things have happened that way. Like, for instance, we got 3 songs on Dawson's Creek. They found me on the internet.
Wow.
I'm busy sending CDs to every film production company all over the place, but Dawson's Creek found me on the internet.
And this is where I hold on to love and let it go.
I had one song that I really believed in, Let You Go. And I gave it to a TV producer who I'd worked with before, and he put it on TV. And based on that, I gave it to Z95, the radio station, and they put it on their new music hour.
So this was even before your album was done.
It was my flagship. It was like, hey, Laura Doyle's coming, and it was also just something I believed in. I manufactured 1,000 copies of that song.
Oh, wow.
Not home burns, manufactured. So I just gave them away to people. At first I thought, maybe I'll sell them for a couple of bucks and cover the costs, but my urge was just to get the song out in the world, so I gave it to everyone.
With your CD. How many copies have you sold of your first album?
I've sold about 3,000 copies.
Wow.
And even before the CD was done, Sean and I co-wrote Let You Go, and it won that Z95 songwriting competition. So there we were. They put the song on the radio. It's in rotation 5 times a day, and we didn't have a CD ready. So we had to scramble to get it finished and get it in the stores.
Being on the radio, what has that done for you?
It's funny, the radio people, in particular Curtis Strange, who was the music director at the time, he had so much faith in me. He has a quote on all my posters that if she isn't known in 5 years, he's going to go sell sneakers at Walmart. And I only have a year and a half left.
Oh, really?
Anyway, he was sure that I would get a record deal out of it, or that even some record label would contact me, but nothing.
So is that what you're looking for? Are you looking for a record deal?
Now I am.
You are?
Yeah.
Tell me what you've done on your own so far.
Well, I've sold 3,000 CDs, which most label releases only sell 2,500.
And how did you sell those?
Many of them I sold on the street. I stood on the corner of Robson and Howe near the Chapter store with a ghetto blaster playing the CD, because I knew people wanted the song, but I couldn't get enough records in the stores because I was independent. So I said, I'll go out and sell the thing.
Wow.
Really hard in some ways.
Yeah?
Yeah. Standing on a street corner and weird people and drunk guys, and I had to get very strong about my boundaries.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
People just ignore you unless you engage with them. So I'd have to say, would you like to buy my new CD? And in the beginning I used to say, would you like to buy a CD? But they thought they were stolen.
Oh, really?
so then I had to say, would you like to buy my CD? Which was even more risk. It was the ultimate lesson in, we don't care about humiliation here. Because of that, then the newspaper, saw me and came and did a, feature article in the A section of the paper. And then BCTV saw the article in the paper, and they came and did a story on me, and then that started selling me CDs.
Wow.
And then I had legitimacy on the street. People go, I've seen you on TV. I'll buy your CD. But before that, they were sort of like, what is she doing?
Oh, wow.
That girl over there. So.
Have you given your record 100%?
Absolutely.
You have.
I really could not have done more than what I did with it, for sure. I did everything. I sent it everywhere. I sent it to all the radio stations across the country, and called them and called them and called them. And some of them I just couldn't get a door open because I was from here and not there and not coming through there. I think I've licensed it. I think I've got 22 licensings in film and television. That's probably the biggest thing, and luckily it actually rewards the most. So that's a big thing. Right now, Dawson's Creek is airing around the world. So there's people from all over the world emailing me and buying my CD. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's big exposure. I don't treat the record as old, even though the industry says after a year and a half it's an old record. To me, it's like, well, I'm an independent and it takes me longer, so yeah. And it's new to everyone who hears it for the first time.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I try to remember that. I've licensed about, to the tune of about $18,000 so far, and about $30,000 in sales. So, yeah.
Wow.
So that's $48,000.
Yes, wow.
Over 3 years, so you can't really live on that.
So what gives you the belief in yourself to keep going?
Sean taught me this. He said, every no you get, you're one closer to a yes.
Yeah.
Because not everyone will reject you, especially if it's good, if what you're doing is good.
Yeah.
So that's some of it. Believing that what I do is good, knowing that it impacts people. Probably the biggest thing is that I know what I do is meaningful and valuable to people, that gives them something nourishing. So we got nominated for 2 Genie Awards, and we were nominated twice in the same category, which is really unusual. That was phenomenal. We got lots of press out of it, and I got to go to Toronto, and I was on Star TV, and they're like, we want to follow you shopping. And I'm like, I'm an independent musician. I don't buy things. But a store offered to give me a dress to wear, so it was like being Cinderella.
Nice. When was the moment that you felt most successful and most excited about something going on in your career, where you felt the closest to your dream?
I got the chance to open for Air Supply, this band that I used to sing along with in high school. You know, I'm all alone, I'm so lost without you. And they're like old men now. But they still had like these revival tours where they'd come out. And so I got a chance to open for them, and it was 3,000 people. And that was pretty amazing. Trying not to focus too much on, you know, oh, I'm there, or this is it. Or, I mean, when we went to Toronto, like Steve Martin was there, Cameron Diaz, like all these famous people were at this party that we were performing at. And again, it was thousands of people. And when we walked down the red carpet and all the cameras are going off and we're going into the Much Music building, that felt like a pretty big peak moment. For sure, yeah, it sounds like it. But they're all peak moments gathered together. Mm-hmm. And it's not, there isn't really one definitive sort of like, this is it.
Any advice that you have for me?
Not assuming that because you do this, that'll happen. That was probably the hardest thing for me. You know, and even what you were talking about the radio play, finding out that you weren't going to get scads of money for it. Yeah. It's like, don't assume that anything leads to anything. Really good friend that taught me this thing of passionate, non-attached attachment. So you're passionate, but you're not attached to the outcomes.
Yes.
And if you have to go, and I've had to do this many times, and get a job doing something else, it doesn't mean that you're not a singer. It doesn't mean that you don't have something valuable to give as a musician and as a truth sayer. So continue to do it and support yourself. Don't wreck yourself on the rocks of, you know, financial messes.